Good afternoon, everybody, on this Monday, May 6th. Welcome to a live edition of Dodgers Territory. I am Alanna Rizzo alongside my host, Clint Pasillas. And by the way, Clint, we have a new Dodgers Territory page. How about that? Look at us getting big and fast so quickly.
At some point you have to leave the mothership, go and spread your wings and fly a little bit. So guys, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. Of course, we still have the Apple podcast, iTunes. We still have all the podcast feeds in place, but we'd really appreciate it if you subscribe over there. I believe we'll be live on that channel on Thursday.
Yeah, like, join, subscribe, all of the things. Clint, I before we get into the big ticket, is there something that you think the Atlanta Braves need a bigger one of?
Perhaps a bigger measuring stick, a bigger ruler, longer ruler. If this was a measuring stick series, still very early in the season, but the Dodgers got the upper hand in that one.
Yes, they did. It's a 3-game series. I see you smirking because I know where your disgusting head was going, and we're just going to move on from that. Questions for Blake Treinen, anybody? Because he is coming up on the show. Blake Treinen off of the IL, back on the mound, and right here coming up live in a few minutes right here on Dodgers Territory. So load up the questions in the chat for Blake. And Clint, how about you and I get to the big ticket? It was a huge weekend for our Los Angeles Dodgers. And Clint, is it fair to say that Andy Pajes, a guy that you've been high on since spring training, isn't going anywhere?
You got a 4-hit game. It was the first 4-hit game of his career. You got a walk-off in there, backs it up with a 2-hit game, 6-hit series, hitting .319 on the season, yet somehow still flying under the radar nationally, in my opinion. The Andy Pajes truthers rise because this dude, I said it tongue in cheek a few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, that this guy could be a savior for the team, but he changed a lot of things once he came up and kind of some things started clicking. It has been very fun to watch this kid.
Cream rises to the top. Have the Dodgers done it again? Clint, have they developed another solid defensive outfielder that can rake?
It seems that way. I mean, we're not going to put him in the Cody Bellinger breath anytime soon, but it's fun to watch him come up, figure some things out. The league try to adjust, him adjust back, and you mentioned defensive there. I would argue he was not really renowned. He was not known in the minor leagues for being a defense first player, but he's looked very, very good in right, very good in center, and all in all, I mean, potentially a 5-tool player, mixing a few more stolen bags and all that. Again, very, very fun to watch player, fun to watch kid. And what does this guy got to do, though? I'll ask you, Alanna. What does he got to do to get some more respect nationally? Because I'm not hearing enough about him.
It's tough because when you're on a team with the likes of Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, it's hard for probably people to recognize the fact that Andy Pajes, at the bottom of the order is a big deal. You talked about Will Smith being probably the most underrated player, not just the underrated catcher. So he has a lot of competition on his own team as far as recognition is concerned. It will come. I mean, it will absolutely come. Remains to be seen what he can do for the remainder of this year. Obviously, when they make it to the postseason, what is he going to do there if he's still on the big league roster? But you'd be hard pressed to see him not on the roster. So it'll happen, Clint. Calm down. Your boy, Andy Pajes, is going to get some national attention. Do not worry about it. One guy that has international acclaim, Shohei Ohtani. What a week for this man. My goodness, what a weekend for him. Continues to hit bombs, continues to basically lead in every single offensive category.
Yeah, this guy's pretty good at baseball, huh? It's a very, very fun to watch human being, destroys baseball. Some of these baseballs have families, Shohei, so he does have to worry about that. He's also just doling out cars. We'll talk about that in a second, but leading baseball in hits, doubles, homers, batting average, slugging, on base plus slugging. You got weighted runs created plus in there, I believe, if not OPS plus for sure. This guy is very good at his job. And it was one of those questions we had. How good would Shohei Ohtani be if he was just focusing on one thing? Well, we're seeing it early in the season when he's locked in. This is a dude that is must watch television.
Yeah, I almost don't know if I want him to pitch when he is healthy and available to pitch just because of what he's doing offensively. Not to say he can't be successful on both sides of the ball. We have seen that he can, but man, he can rake. And this is a guy that just keeps handing out Porsches. He gave one to Joe Kelly's wife, Ashley, when Ashley basically campaigned him to come to LA. And then he took
Funny.
his number, Joe Kelly's number. So now Kelly's 99, which used to be Hyunjin Ryu's number. But how about this? He gifted his manager a Porsche after he broke Dave Roberts' home run record as a Dodger. Dave had 7. Shohei now has 8 Japanese-born players. Not quite as nice as Ashley Kelly's, but Dave's still smiling, Clint.
I think the story is too that Shohei, if the Dodgers do win that World Series, Dave will be getting a real Porsche, a big boy Porsche from Shohei Ohtani, which I mean, not that this team needs more incentive, not that Dave Roberts needs more incentive to run out there and try to help guide this team to a World Series championship, but throwing in a Porsche does make it a little bit nicer.
You know what stinks is at the time when Shohei was an Angel and he was number 17, my current husband wasn't an Angel at the time. But when Chris was there at the Angels, he wore number 17. So I was like, man, if we would have started dating earlier and Shohei came to the Angels when Chris was still there, maybe I would have gotten a Porsche. But that's
I
neither
think
here nor there because
I think
Chris wasn't an Angel. We were not together, and here we are.
retroactively ask for one, just see what happens. It doesn't hurt
just
to have.
randomly, just randomly, like, hey, Chris was 17 in Anaheim, and you took Anaheim. So can I get like a scooter, maybe like a Vespa, maybe not a Porsche, but maybe a Vespa. All right, Max Muncy, hello, welcome back. A 3 home run game. Hi.
Yeah, needed that. Got a 4-hit game. Needed that in the worst way. Not having a terrible season on both sides of the ball, but not exactly what the type of season he was looking for. All of a sudden, you get this 4-hit game. All the numbers look a lot prettier, moves up higher on all those stats pages. Notably, was hitting just 203 over his previous 24 games. Still was earning the walk. Still get the extra base hits that you are going to get with Maxwell Muncy. But now, I don't know if this is I'm all the way back Max Muncy game, but when you see this kind of performance, if this guy gets going at the plate, the production of this lineup, I mean, it could rival any of the best lineups we hear about in baseball history. And yeah, I'm going to piss off some people by saying we got a long way to go, but maybe move over Murderer's Row, or this is a
Oh,
Death Row
wow.
2024, something like that. There's a
Wow.
your power in there. There's an insane amount of pop up and down the lineup. Still got to get CT going, Gavin Lux going. But guys, at me at Real FRG, send me your hate mail.
You know, it's crazy too, because I had a conversation with an Atlanta radio station on Friday just about this upcoming series. All right. We talked about the litmus test. We talked about it was really a measuring stick series for both teams, both leading their division. Atlanta, we know how good they are. Both teams getting ousted in the first round of the postseason last year, us by San Diego, them by the Philadelphia Phillies. And I said, you know what? Right now, I thought that the bottom of our lineup was weaker than the bottom of their lineup. I really thought that top to bottom, 1 through 9, Atlanta was the stronger team on paper coming in just based on production and not an easy out. And here we are. What the hell do I know? Because here we are getting a 3-game sweep at Dodger Stadium. And oh, by the way, Walker Buehler's coming back tonight. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Blake Treinen's going to join us here momentarily. But do you think, though, that Max Muncy has proven, Clint? We know about the offense. We know he is a guy that has 30 or more home runs every single year. Defensively, is he what he needs to be at third base for you?
So Muncy was among those like entering the season, those big question marks, particularly at third base. Did not have a good season last year defensively. My whole ask of him was just don't be a problem at third base, and he will be perfectly fine. We know the bat's going to be there. You could plug in 35 home runs, no problem. But the defense, all of a sudden, this is a guy who was angry at himself, put in the work, put in the time, slimmed down the offseason, looks very good at third base all of a sudden, making some stops, good, strong throws, and chipping 3 homers against the Braves there, which is fun. By the way, we should tell you guys on the other side of the series, welcoming to the family here at the Foul Territory family is Hammer Territory. I'm rushing through it here because it's cool. I love what the FT fam is doing. We're adding more pieces to the puzzle. People wanted all 30 teams to be covered by FT, and I guess we were the stepping stone to getting more teams out there. But they cover Braves baseball like nobody else. So a new episode did drop last night. It's I guess therapy session for Braves fans or Dodgers fans want to gloat. Go give it a listen. Give it a follow on your podcast platforms.
Yeah, Hammer Territory, of course, covering everything Atlanta Braves after Hammer and Hank Aaron, of course, hosted by Brad Rowland, Scott Coleman, Stephen Tolberry. I can't see you guys. I can't even see my own writing. And Sean Coleman. So welcome. It's available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Hammer and Territory, welcome to the Foul Territory family. And speaking of welcoming to the Foul Territory family and the Dodgers Territory family, Blake Treinen off of the IL, right back on the mound. A beautiful eighth inning, 11 pitches, 1K. Blake, it is so good to see you. Man, that's the way to make a statement coming off the IL. I mean, by the looks of it, it looked like you felt great out there, but you had everything working. Tell us more about it.
I wouldn't say I had everything working, but it was good enough. Yeah. Honestly, just a blessing to be back. It's been quite the journey. I've learned a lot about myself through my family and through my faith. And this is just the journey God has me on, and I'm grateful to be back. I mean, we've got a phenomenal team, and to be able to go out and face the guys I did last night and see some success, it felt good.
Sorry, I thought Alanna was going to go right there. Yeah, talk more about that journey. That's our bad there. We're hearing random noises too. It's all part of the fun of live, but obviously very, very long journey back. I'm sure much longer than you ever would have hoped or anticipated. Talk a little bit about that, the struggles. Like, do you at some point think about just hanging up the spikes and all of that? I'm sure you went through just about everything to finally get back to this point.
I never thought about hanging out my spikes. Had a real conversation, with my wife, and then prayed about it and just kind of asked God one time, like, how long do you want me to play? And, he gave me a number, and at some point down the road, I'll talk about that. But I'm just believing that there's more for me in this game, and that God's going to use me in a bigger way through the Dodgers organization. And, you set goals for yourself. I was hoping to be back last year, and I worked hard for it. My body was in good shape. I was throwing well, but I never saw the gains that I needed at the end. And the one thing I took away is some people are fortunate to come back quicker, and other people need the full rest period. And when I got to about a year out from surgery, it was like a night and day difference playing catch in my shop, and lifting and things just became a lot easier with mobility. And it's not a credit to myself entirely. I've had a lot of good people with our training staff and rehab aspect. All the people involved there were like Greg Brajas, Jonathan Erb, Thomas Halbert. And then back home, I have a phenomenal T guy and Randy Castle, and a friend, Jake McFarland at APEC, Adapt Sports in Kansas City. They've all blessed me with tools to get my body in the right position. And just having the extra time through the off season and being able to lift and get strong again blessed me with a foundation to try to get back to where I needed to be this year. And then spring training was kind of an unfortunate turn, but so goes baseball. So just grateful to be back.
Blake, you had mentioned that not everything was working, but when I was looking at you pitch that eighth inning, the movement on your pitches was disgusting. You had the movement, you had the location, you had the change of speeds. That is such a deadly combination. So take me into your head. What wasn't working? Because from outside looking in, my goodness.
In the moment, I felt fine with it. I was a little frustrated about falling behind Kalanick, trying to be more in the zone to induce weak contact early, and if it gets me to a strikeout count, then obviously take my shots. But I wasn't too thrilled about my sinker. It is a little bit weird. Maybe I was too much energy and amped up for the moment that I kind of can't decide myself. But I executed what I needed to, and Barnes was great back there, and the defense was awesome behind me. So we're perfectionists, and you play the game for as long as some of us have, and you start finding ways to get better, because we're never a perfect version of ourselves. Obviously, I'm super excited about how yesterday went, but I still know that I need to be a little bit better. So first one's out of the way, and just try to build off of it.
Yeah, build off of it for sure. And you come back at a time where it seems like it's just been a struggle for this team, particularly the bullpen. they get you back. You lose Evan Phillips, unfortunately, to the IL. Should be a short stint, but can you speak to just kind of the kinship there in the bullpen and everybody? I would say sort of pulling for one another when somebody does, go down with an injury.
Yeah, I mean, sports at the professional level can be brutal sometimes. Some injuries are, we understand the risk that we take on when we play the game. Other ones, it doesn't make sense. With Brazier's calf and Evans hamstring, and just the stuff that happens. We're a little bit, you scratch your head. You're like, there's so many other things that could happen as a pitcher. Like you're worried about like your arm or your back, and these things. It's just you can't plan for them, and they'll come back strong and able and be a huge contributing factor, hopefully sooner than later. And, I'm grateful that I got a chance to, come in at the time and that I was ready at the time that it was needed. But anytime you take a hit, with those, three or four guys that have gone through it this year, it's tough. So, but the cool thing is we got young guys who can have opportunities and really build on this opportunity and show what they're capable of. If I've learned anything through the 5 years now that I've been with the Dodgers, it's no matter what comes our way, we've got the people in place to give us the tools to have success, and then find the success and belief in ourselves and what we're able to do. So there's plenty of young guys that are capable. We're very blessed in this organization to have premium talent.
I can't believe it's been 5 years already. Blake, time
So
is flying by. I remember when you came to the organization, and here we sit 5 years later. The ninth inning is a different beast, right? The final three outs of a game is just another level. So, what gives you the confidence knowing that, you know what, if called upon in the ninth, it could be a closer by committee for a bit, that you have the stuff and you're physically ready to do it?
I think experience in the past helps with that, and then confidence in your preparation. If you're diligent with your preparation, and then you can trust what you do in the game. So when opportunity meets your preparation, then I think you have better chances for success. And I've been fortunate to have been trusted with the ball in a lot of situations, whether it's leverage between the sixth and eighth or in the ninth for saving a game. I'm really wherever my role is expected. I just want to excel at the best clip in baseball. So whether it's Joe or Huddy or Evan or whoever it is, obviously Evan's the closer. I just am excited to throw again, and if they need me somewhere while Evan's recovering, then whatever it is, like I'm grateful for. I know they're going to run us out there for the most clip of success for the better of the Dodgers in that game. So I think just experience and confidence in what you've been given, and what we're blessed with. We're all blessed to play baseball. It's a gift given to us from God. So, and we work really hard at our craft. So whatever's out there, we just leave it on the line and let the results be what they may.
Blake, do you have any similarities or know how your body is feeling when you have a type of year as you did in 2018 when you were an all-star with the Athletics? I mean, what did that body feel like to you? And how much do you think your repertoire or your development has advanced since then?
I think I'm a better. I think stuff wise that year, it almost felt like it was outer body experience. I didn't really know what I was doing right. I was just doing it. I think I found that less is almost more. Not trying to like throw as hard as you can or make a pitch extra nasty, and understanding you can only do so much with what the hitters in the with what hitters in the box and what the count dictates. Can't try to strike somebody out with one pitch. Like you got to get to a two-strike count before you can even think of it. But I would much rather stay fresh for multiple days and get 3 outs on 5 pitches, but baseball's fallen in love with strikeouts and stuff. But I think ERA is your biggest dictator in like weak contact. And I'm all about just weak contact and letting my defense work. Now, when I got to LA, they showed me a lot of things. We simplified, went back to just sinker slider, developed and started adding new things back into it, like my cutter and then four seam. And I think honestly, my 21 season is a better season than 18. And I
Hmm.
know numbers wise, it might not dictate it, but I felt like I faced and was asked to face certain hitters all the time, like 1 through 5, 1 through 6. And I think I understand the value of just being in and around the zone and when to expand, and then just uh, like kind of trust the preparation into it, instead of trying to be too fine. Like know where your lanes are and where you can have success, and that's what the Dodgers have taught me. Um, Between Mark and Connor and Bardo, so I've been reaping the benefits of just a lot of good people around me. I mean, I've been what I have is a gift given to me from God, but like I work really really hard at my craft, almost to the point where it can get in the way of things. But the Dodgers do a great job of showing me like, hey, when you have success, now you know the fundamentals of why you're having success. So I would say that's how I've developed over the years, is to understand what makes me successful and how to lean on those, even if I'm not at my best clip on a given day. What can I go to?
So we know we got a comment here from one of the fans. We know one of the things that could also help you, maybe when you don't have your best stuff, is getting hyped when you're coming into the game. So A4 Romo had asked, Treinen, you should start thinking about your intro song. What's it going to be? The intros have gotten a little crazy around baseball. I'm waiting for fireworks to
Yeah,
happen. What are you thinking? Are you going to bring something to the table here and make it more of a spectacle at Dodger Stadium?
I don't know. Joe's got a great one. I've had like two walkout songs in my career, and it was "Outsiders" by Eric Church for most of my career, and since 2020, like a week or two before the playoffs, it's been "Fire Emoji" by, I think he changed his name, 808 Breezy, I think is his name now, but he's a Christian rap artist, and it kind of hypes me up a bit because I mean I love thumping beats, so I just I'm a pretty mellow guy for the most part, but in those situations and in the weight room, I got to have something more upbeat. But it's called Fire Emoji, is what I've had for the last few years.
Yeah, they are a little bit. They are a little bit crazy. A little bit
Yeah.
something that maybe Walker Buehler would come out to. And
That's
speaking of butane, you guys get him back in the rotation tonight against the Miami Marlins. I'm sure you can relate on how much he's wanted to be out there and pitch. He's a competitive guy. He's a fiery guy. What does it mean to get butane back, Blake?
well, no more days off for Bueller. He gets to come back to work, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see him. I've watched him go through the process last summer in Arizona. It was me, JP, and Walker really for most of it, and watching some of his starts now in Oklahoma City, the competitiveness. He's still one of the most clutch big game guys I've ever seen pitch in person, and Max Scherzer being another one, Kershaw being another one, and um, I I just I'm excited for him because I know how much time and effort he's put into it. And tonight I think it's like a dog's been in a cage for so long, and maybe the gate. And so we'll see what Walker has. And it'll be good because he's looked pretty dang good in his rehab starts.
Yeah, it's amazing that not amazing because you guys have always had the personnel to make it happen despite having 11 guys on the IL. But really, it's impressive where this club is despite not having some of your best arms on the hill. Blake Treinen, welcome back. You looked great yesterday in the eighth inning. It's so nice to have you back. Huge, huge boost to the back end of that bullpen. Continued luck to you and continued success. And thanks so much for coming on Dodgers territory with Clint and I today. We really appreciate it.
Honors mine. Thank you for asking me.
All right, Blake Treinen in the Dodgers bullpen. We always appreciate that very much. All right, time now for Behind the Seams, Clint. And we talked a little bit about it, but here comes Walker Buehler.
Let's do it.
Expectation level? I mean, let him go as long as he can go, or are you thinking, 5 innings, 6 innings, 80 pitches? What do you think's going to happen tonight?
Yeah, I mean, if you can get him into the sixth, that'd be pretty damn impressive. It is the Marlins, so it's not out of the realm of possibility, but leave him with a good feeling coming off the mound. Leave Dodger Stadium, giving him a standing ovation and all that. He can earn that very easily just by showing up. It's been a very, very long time, nearly 2 years since we've seen Walker F. and Buehler on the bump there. So just keep the bar low, have some fun, and try not to hurt yourself. I think that's what really everybody needs to look forward to with butane. But I'm expecting a
Clint,
lot
I
out of
don't
him.
I don't know that he can keep the bar low. That's the problem with
Yeah,
Walker, right? It's so
yeah.
hard for him just to kind of like just go slow. He only knows 150 miles an hour. So what do you need to see from him? I mean, the goal, right, is to get out of this outing healthy. But what do you need to see stuff wise to know that butane on the way back.
Well, number one, we need to see the tight pants back. That's
No,
an
brother.
important. That's an absolute
Not with these uniforms, bro. Not with these uniforms. Wait till they go back to the way that they used to be. I don't need to see that. I don't.
give the fans something to look forward to, something else to look
Mercy.
forward to.
No,
I don't
no,
know.
no.
They have a giveaway day. If not, they can give away. Well, I'll walk away from that. But what you need to see from him is, as Dave Roberts would say it, just strike the ball, hit your locations. He doesn't need to throw 98, 99 anymore. Really, what they're trying to do right now, great piece dropped today in the LA Times from Jack Harris talking about the mechanical changes they've kind of adjusted with Buehler. Everything is focused on no more injuries. You do not want to have him blow out the arm again. Of course, he's already two-time Tommy John surgery guy. You don't want that again. So they're trying to get him more into that back leg and let the body work for him more. But don't overthrow. Don't let the adrenaline get to him. And I think he will be okay. It's going to be hard, though.
I
Like
tell you
said,
what, though, he was on. There was a picture of him at Dodger Stadium the other day when he was on the hill, and I know that he's into weightlifting, and I know you're talking about the lower body and the load and everything, but his arms, the guns are ridiculous. It's like suns out, guns out. I swear he's lifted a ton of weight. He looks completely different. He's like growing into his body, if you can say that, and I can say that because I was there when he got called up, and he was just a baby. But Nick brought up a good point in our chat as he continue, as our fans continue to join us here on Dodgers territory. He said, smart to start him against the fish. And I couldn't agree more because you want a soft landing, right? I mean, this is a Marlins team that's depleted. They just traded arguably their best player. So why not start him at home against the Marlins versus starting him anywhere against the Braves?
I mean, it looked like starting him against the Braves wasn't going to be that big of a deal, but I know everybody was happy about the whole idea of the soft landing for Buehler. We got KT Troon saying ease him in. It's the fish. He's got this. It's been a long time, so I'm okay with that kind of soft landing, and you hope for the best, I guess, because baseball's weird. Just because it's a bad team, air quote bad team, doesn't mean these are all as Mookie Betts will say, they all drive nice cars too.
Yeah, I get it, but it is a bad team. I'm going to take away the air quotes. It's
You
basically like the Miami Marlins looking at the Colorado Rockies and the Chicago White Sox and saying, hold my beer. And that leads us, Clint, to last licks. And before we get into our pup of the week for Guidry's Guardian Foundation, what was your honest opinion when you found out over the weekend that the Miami Marlins had traded Luis Arraez to the San Diego Padres?
Well, the first thought I had was this early, this kind of trade this early, but I don't understand. I mean, I'm going to look at the Padres side first. I don't understand why the Padres needed another infielder who, I mean, he kind of isn't necessarily a great defender, but beyond that, how could a team like the Marlins, who were just in the playoffs, just earned a playoff berth last year, how could they punt and just give up so quickly and be so very open and honest about the fact that they are punting the season?
No question about it. They basically waved the proverbial white flag when they traded Luis Arraez, who's a batting champion in two different leagues, by the way. When they traded Luis Arraez to the San Diego Padres over the course of the weekend. And then, Clint, they doubled down, and baseball operations, president of baseball ops, Peter Bendix, says, we're unlikely to make the postseason this year. Well, no shit, because you trade your best player before Cinco de Mayo. You let Kim Ng walk, who has more experience in her left pinky than most of us do in our entire body. And then you tell the fans that you're not going, a fan base that doesn't go to your games anyway, unless it's the WBC or an international tournament. You're telling them that we're giving up. And my issue with this is that you are trying to run the Miami Marlins like the Tampa Bay Rays. And the only team that can run the Rays like the Rays are the Rays. You cannot continue to lower payroll and win. This is just such an odd move to me. I just don't understand it.
As a Dodger fan, I guess I'm happy it happened before the Marlins are coming here. So we'll take some solace in that. But as a baseball fan, terrible, stupid. It's embarrassing to baseball to see so many organizations really right now run so extremely poorly. But
well, now we have to see Luis Ariz a billion more times, though. As a Dodger fan, that part stinks. All right. Last licks as far as the puppers are concerned. Let me introduce everybody to Poncho. Poncho was found running through the busy streets of Los Angeles. Listen to this sadness. With a empty suitcase tied to him, and he was running with the suitcase behind him. He was found near a homeless encampment, and no owner was found. So some good Samaritans, huge Dodger fans, by the way. One of our producers for Sportsnet LA, Brett Teal, and his wife took him in. And right now, Poncho went to the vet today, got a baseline wellness exam, got his first round of shots. He got a fecal exam, all those things that you need to make sure that he's okay. He's about 1.5 years old. He loves kids, loves other dogs, is going to remain small. Is already well trained, even though I don't believe has ever had a family before. We're going to get him neutered. We're going to get him chipped. Today's vet visit was about $450. So if you want to help us out with that, guidrysguardian.org. And he definitely needs a forever home. So if you're interested in adopting Poncho, visit us again, guidrysguardian.org.
Listen, for the people that are listening to the podcast side of this, that is one adorable damn dog.
Isn't he cute? He's so cute. He's all white and he has a little bit of blackness around his eyes. I mean, every dog is cute, let's be honest. But Poncho's adorable. And our social media guru, Derek, said if he lived in Los Angeles, he would take Poncho in a heartbeat. Well, you know what, buddy? We have planes. We can get him to you. So anyway, Poncho's available for adoption. But if you can't adopt, you can always help by donating. And don't forget, Clint, we have a Dodgers territory page now. So let's make sure everybody likes, subscribes, join us on YouTube, get us on the YouTube page, and also anywhere that you get your podcast. A massive thank you to Blake Treinen for joining us on the show today. And Clint and I will be back live for you on Thursday. We'll see you then.
Bye.